Facebook. You're behind the scenes today with March for Life New York Radio. We're going to be going on. How many minutes to go?
7 minutes.
In 7 minutes, right? The radio's going to start. But we're here right now at the March for Life New York studios. We have Claire on the line. Say hello, Claire.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, we love having you on.
It's going to be a great show tonight. We're excited.
And we're getting ready for the show. Of course, we're behind the scenes now. I hope you're watching by Facebook. And if you are watching, please tell people to watch. Tell your friends now to join. Invite them to watch us on Facebook. This is going to be a very, very great show. And you want to see it, and you want to tell your friends to watch it also.
Amen. We're at 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
All right. So, Claire, we're excited. It's going to be a great show tonight.
Absolutely.
How's the weather in Colorado?
Oh, it's beautiful. It was beautiful today. It's 50s. Snow on the ground, of course, and I think there's always some kind of storm or another heading away, but today was a beautiful day.
Oh, and you sound so clear. You sound like sitting right here in the room with us. Wow. That's a good thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best connection we've ever had, I gotta say.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Very cool.
I noticed a lot of people like the flyer. I put the flyer on, and people were liking it and responding to it, so that was great. Maybe we'll have a lot of people watching tonight.
Yes, absolutely. That would be wonderful.
5 minutes until showtime.
Do you have any questions for us, Claire? Is everything good, or?
I don't think so. I'm good to go. I don't have any questions. So yeah, whatever you would like to cover, I'm happy to cover.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you so much. So nice of you. You're really very brave to get the word out. You're going to help other people. It's just amazing. You know, we have our theme for the March for Life New York History Maker. And I really believe you're a history maker. God is using you and your husband to be history maker.
My views were each just one voice, but you know, we each add up to a much bigger picture, and you know, when we can, when each our voice be heard, it's important. And you know, I've certainly learned that on the path I've traveled in the last, you know, in the 40, I turned 42, so 42 years of my life. 12 has been outside of Scientology, so I'm very blessed and happy for that.
Oh, it's been 12 years. Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think it's January 24th is my 12th anniversary. There you go.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I know in March for Life, they're having a March for Life in Washington, D.C. This Friday, and their theme is the power of one. And it's so true, you know, one person really, you know, we always look for somebody else to do something, a group.
That's right. We have to do it.
But it's really each one of us doing what we should be doing our parts.
That's right.
You know, so. That's absolutely correct. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And we, with the TV program, was amazing. It was wonderful. It really was. You know, we went. We don't watch a lot of TV.
Really honored to be able to participate in that.
It was great.
Both Mark and I were very, very happy with how that came together, and you know, Leah Remini and Mike Rinder have just done an absolutely stellar job of exposing Scientology, the inner workings, the abuses, and also, but I think also tempering that with helping the public understand how this has gone on.
Yes, it's true. No, I didn't really know half of the things that, you know, they said. I really didn't understand what was going on, and I was shocked.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, really, and you know, the thing is, you know, we have to speak the truth, and people have to know what's going on. It's important.
That's right.
You know, we have to care for each other. I mean, and I think a lot of people out there in the world, I know Scientology said that, you know, teaches you that people are bad, and you know, if they're not Scientologists, but a lot of people really care. I mean, out there, and they care about you, and they care about what was done to you.
2 minutes until showtime.
I know that was one of the biggest things that really struck me, is that finally, you know, having been born into Scientology and growing up in it, I still, to some degree, was explaining away why, well, that was done because that's their belief, or that, you know, I was handed over from my mother at age 4 because that's their practice. That's what they do. And it just finally hit me when I saw people's responses to the show. You know what? This is not okay. What went on is not okay. It's abuse. It just really, it hit me like a ton of bricks going.
And you didn't even know because you...
Obviously, I have been speaking out.
Yes.
But still, and I don't know, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors with Scientology. It's a lot of mental machinations that make you think that, you've done something bad or you've done something wrong and it all turns on you, and that's really just simply not the case.
That's right.
It's
a lie.
1 minute until
People
showtime.
have to stand up to it, or it's going to, honestly, the turning point for me when I finally set aside my own fear from all that was when they actually had child services show up at our house in 2008. And my husband had just started speaking out. And the gentleman that came was very nice. He said, I'm really sorry to have to come here. My oldest son at the time was 2.5, and I had a 6-month-old. My second son was 6 months old. And he said, I'm really sorry to come. I hate to have to do this, but by law I'm required to come.
Right.
We just want you to know someone is making trouble for you, and you really need to watch your back. And at that moment, I just, it was all bets are off for me, because I sat down and really was honest with myself. I'm like, there's no way I am going to raise my children to have...
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
We're going on now.
3.
Excuse us 1 minute. We're going to join the radio. Here we go.
We're ready to go on, Clay. God bless you.
See you in a minute.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
In the Gospel of John, Jesus said the thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I have come that they may have life, that they have it more abundantly. The thief that steals, kills, and destroys lives came in under the guise of Roe v. Wade in 1973. Since then, approximately 58 million babies have been murdered. Statistics say that approximately 3,700 babies are aborted in the U.S. daily. And there are approximately 1.3 million children brutally losing their lives every year. But March for Life New York was established to bring awareness of this tragedy and to bring an end to Roe v. Wade in our lifetime. For we aim to be history makers in our generation.
This is what you all dance.
I'm gonna do.
And now, here are your hosts, pro-life activists, Pastors Jim and Joni Lucas.
Hello, history makers. Listening to March for Life New York Radio, your pro-life radio. I'm your host, the president of March for Life New York, Pastor Joni Lucas. I'm here tonight with my co-host and my fabulous husband, Pastor Jim Lucas.
Oh, thank you.
And our newsman, Reverend James Nemley, is online also with us. And our guest tonight is Claire Headley, a former Scientologist. But I want to start the show tonight by reading a scripture from John 14:6. And this is the words of Jesus Christ. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but me. Jesus is the only way to salvation. Jesus shows the truth because he is the truth. And it's him that gives us life. Today we want to look at a godless religion that leads us to live in the wrong way. A godless religion that doesn't speak the truth about itself or the horrible way it treats its people. A religion that takes away life from its people. I'm talking about Scientology, the godless cult. It destroys families. It forces women to abort their precious unborn babies. It takes their time and their money and their happiness away from all who get caught up in it. I must say, I really knew a little about this Scientology until Leah Remini came out and told her story. And I want to say thank God for her. God bless her for telling the truth. And of course, I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I believe children are a blessing from the Lord. I believe all life comes from Almighty God, and all life is precious. I believe abortion is murder of those innocent babies. But for women who have abortion and they're sorry and they repent, there's always forgiveness in Christ Jesus, because Jesus is a God of love.
Amen.
It seems to me that Scientology is a loveless practice, Pastor Jim.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you.
It's great to have you. We appreciate it.
We want to thank you for being a history maker, for getting the truth out about what's going on behind the scene with Scientology. And Claire, can you share with us, with the listeners, I know, but can you share with the listeners how you got involved with Scientology? Let them know. Tell them in your own words.
Yes, absolutely. I was born into Scientology. I was born in England, 1975, and my mother was a Scientologist at the time of my birth. When I was 4 years old, my mother signed a billion-year contract for what Scientology calls the C organization. It is where a Scientologist commits to service of 1 billion years, and they then become a staff member, living communally at very different locations around the world. In my mother's case, this was England. And so at the age of 4, I came over to the cadet organization, which is where children of staff members were in full-time care of other Sea Org members. So if I was lucky from the age of 4 until age 10, I would see my mother maybe 2 hours a week if I was lucky. And she joined as a single mother.
Wow.
And so at the age of 5, I started learning and studying L. Ron Hubbard's precepts, The Way to Happiness, and things of that nature. But it was, from as soon as I could read, I was being indoctrinated in the Scientology belief system.
Wow. And you were so young. It's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow. So young.
Absolutely.
And you only saw your mother a couple of hours a week. You had other people raising you.
I'm sorry, I missed that question.
You only saw your mother when you were 4 years old a couple of times a week. You said there was other people that actually were raising you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And at that same time is when I first learned of the practice of disconnection, wherein if a Scientologist or a member of Scientology is non-conforming, decides they don't want to be a Scientologist anymore, then their family, their friends, everyone they know who is also a Scientologist is required to disconnect from them and cut off all communication. So at age 7, my mother was declared a person of what Scientology calls someone who they sell, a label that I now have as well. And my friend had to disconnect from her mother because my friend stayed in Scientology. At age 7, I can tell you in uncertain terms, the concept or even idea of losing your mother, and especially in my case, she was the only parent I had. It's extremely overwhelming, daunting, scary. Pretty much I buckled down at that point and decided no matter what, I was going to make sure that I never lost my mother.
Wow. And you think that child services would go and visit them? What you're saying to me is just not even normal to put children through. That's unbelievable.
Very difficult.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Absolutely. The indoctrination that goes on of children is extreme. And, you know, in Scientology, they believe that there is no such thing as a child. They believe that child is adult occupying a child's body. So therefore, they treat children as children. They treat them as adults. And they're expected to be adults and have the responsibilities of adults and give confessions as adults, and everything else is all in that vein because that's what they believe. So the abuse and neglect of children because of that, in my opinion, is extreme.
And you lost your childhood. They don't have childhoods. Like, you can't be a child. Wow. So when did you, and you lived there, did you go to school? Did they send you, allow you to go to school as a child?
I'm sorry, you broke up
Oh,
on that
I'm
question.
sorry.
I might need to call you back.
No.
You're coming very
You're
clear,
good.
but we
Oh,
might be...
let me ask you something. Did they let you go to school? I don't know if you could hear me. Can you hear me?
It's breaking up. Should I call you right back on a different line?
You're very clear. It might be from our end. That's,
Can you hear us now? I was asking you about school. Did they allow you to go to school? You probably can't hear.
Sorry, it's very choppy. Did you say, were we allowed to go to school?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, we, depending on, there are Scientology schools. In my case, because I was in the cadet organization, I did actually go to public school. We were bused there from the cadet organization to the school. You know, so there was probably easily 30 of us that were bused to and from the local public school. And even then, all of the children that were bused had a very bad reputation at the school. The teachers often complained of the children's hygiene, that they were smelly, unbathed.
Oh,
they often had fleas. In my case, my mother insisted that and so yeah, just to clarify that too, all the children slept in dormitories, so we were not allowed to sleep with our parents in their rooms.
Oh, boy.
We slept there was a girls' dormitory and a boys' dormitory. And in my case, my mother insisted that I sleep in my own bed. Sometimes we couldn't do sleepovers, so sometimes friends would say, "Oh, sleep on my bunk bed tonight," instead of a sleepover. And so actually one night I did do that, and I ended up rolling out of the bunk bed, landing on some wooden planks that somebody had left there.
Oh,
I broke my collarbone and cut open my head. But even with that, honestly, the most normal part of my life and the only part of my life that I enjoyed at the time was going to public school.
Oh.
So because of that, the next morning, I adamantly insisted that I be allowed to go to school anyway. Nobody noticed or knew that I'd cut open my head. There wasn't adult supervision. I mean, it was one adult to 30 kids. So not that anyone noticed that I was in agonizing pain with my collarbone broken and my head cut open.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I went to school anyway, and obviously I was in excruciating pain. The teacher saw the cut in my head, and I was called in to see the headmistress at lunchtime. And it wasn't until 30 years later I left that I realized that she really thought that I had been beaten up and abused. And of course, I had been. I mean, it was neglect.
Yes.
But I didn't, as a child, I just told her, "Oh no, I fell out of bed," and she said, "Okay, well your mother is coming to pick you up, and you're going to the hospital." And anyway, that's just one example. And honestly, my story is not even necessarily extreme compared to many others who were abused and neglected as children at the hands of Scientology.
Well, that is so horrible. I until you just said that, I didn't even realize that. And it's just horrible that these children are being abused like this, and I really believe we all have to get together and do something about it because it's not a good
Yeah,
situation.
gotta get the word out.
You
for
know,
sure.
but you grew up and you stayed with them through the years, for many, many years. When did you first have doubts? When did the red flag start going up that you knew something was not right?
Sorry, you are very much breaking up. Can I call from a different line?
Well, actually, your line is very good. You're coming in great.
It's us.
It might be us because we have a
okay.
storm.
Yeah, we have a bad storm out here.
Oh, goodness, I'm
But-
sorry.
No, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't want to be.
It sounds very choppy at my end, so I don't get the complete question.
Okay,
I'm
I'll
struggling
try
to
again.
I'm trying to do
When?
my best here, sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. When did you first start having doubts? When did the red flags start going up about Scientology? I know you lived there. You were with them for many years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, ironically, it's funny you asked that. I mean, and honestly, as a child, I knew I was having anything but a normal childhood, and I was miserable. And as a child, I even had decided for myself, I'm never going to join the Sea organization. I want no part of this.
Wow.
But there's a big but, because obviously what carried out and what happened is very different than that. The problem is I very quickly realized how difficult it was for me to get out. If I were to say any of that or voice that to anybody, I would be in extreme threat of losing my mother. And as I said, she was a single mom. She's the only parent that I knew or had. And so I was going to do my darndest to make sure I didn't lose her. And that was a very real threat from a very young age.
Oh.
And it ended up dominating the course of my decisions as that went on. Also, the pressure to become a member of the Sea organization, to sign a billion-year contract, etc., started at a very young age. I quickly learned that in Scientology's view, if you don't become a member of the Sea organization, then you're what they term out ethics. You're a bad person, and it means you've committed crimes, and the only reason you wouldn't want to be a part of that group and sign the billion-year contract is because of that. And again, it's overwhelming as a child, as a teenager, to face those pressures and to especially the accusation of such labels as that at that age was overwhelming. My mother did end up leaving the Sea organization when I was age 10. However, she remained a Scientologist in good standing, and I continued training, doing intensive training at first in England at their headquarters, and then in 1988, when I was 13 years old, is when we moved to California, and I continued my training at that time at Celebrity Center in Hollywood.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was being hounded constantly by recruiters for the Sea organization, and finally, at age 16, I just gave in. I felt I couldn't resist it anymore. I felt I had no real future outside of Scientology. My parents had taken me out of school at age 13, so I had no formal, high school education. My friends were all Scientologists. I had no options of going to college. And anyway, going to college is frowned upon by Scientologists, as they consider that joining the Sea organization is absolutely the greatest good, as they call it.
Wow.
Anyway, so I gave in and I went back in. And so that was in July 1991 when I was age 16. And I ended up very quickly being promoted to their headquarters, which is a 500-acre secret compound in Hemet. When I say secret, yes, the public in general and Google can tell you where their headquarters is. But a Scientologist, for example, even my mother, was not allowed to know where that headquarters was located. So when I was promoted there, my mother was required to sign over guardianship of me to a lady that she'd never met who worked at that property.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's something.
Wow.
Claire, can I just say, what exactly is the Sea organization?
Yes. So the Sea organization is paramilitary elite organization
Wow.
that is targeted with delivering the advanced levels of Scientology, and really it's the slave labor body that executes and carries out. So at the upper organizations of Scientology, it's all manned by people who are Sea Org members. So even though there are different organizations within Scientology, corporately and document-wise and so forth, the upper organizations of Scientology, starting at what's called an advanced organization, that's where an advanced organization is where the upper levels of Scientology, the OT levels as they are called, are delivered. And then also the management organizations of Scientology, those are all staffed by members of the Sea organization. And so just to give you an idea, when you sign a billion-year contract, the first thing that someone is required to do is called a States Project Force, where they do manual labor intensively, and they study 5 hours a day, being trained as a Sea Org member, learning the rules, the code of conduct, that they're expected to do any job, any duty, no matter what's required, that they're expected to make things go right is the term. Anyway, I could go on and on, but
Yeah, so it's like an elite group, right?
That program, you get assigned a position, and yeah, you're living in communal birthing. You're on a very strict schedule. It's basically anywhere from 16 to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Technically, the written policies say that you get 3 weeks off per year. I can tell you in the 15 or 14 and a half years that I was in this organization, I had maybe a total of six to 8 days off, of which 3 of those were the days that I was off the property to get married.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, very, very strict rules. Very strict.
Yeah, it's very controlled, right? That's something.
Yeah, exactly. And as a member of the headquarters in Hemet, you have no authorization to make a phone call without it being listened to. You have to have prior written authorization as to why you even want to make a phone call, who you want to speak to, what it's about.
You lose all your rights.
So it's a lot of control, huh?
You lose your rights.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to March for Life New York Radio with Pastors Jim and Joni Lupus. And we're here tonight with Claire Headley, a former Scientologist. And we'll be right back after this brief message.
Hello, this is Father Frank Pavone of Priests for Life. All we do in the pro-life movement must be sustained by prayer. That's why a national interdenominational prayer service will be held on the morning of the March for Life, Friday, January 27th, in Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. We invite you and your groups to come from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. The host committee includes Dick Bach of Bach Radio Network, Ernie Olhoff of the National Right to Life Committee, Brad Mattis of Life Issues Institute, Alveda King of Priests for Life, and Archbishop Craig W. Bates, Patriarch of the International Communion of the Charismatic Episcopal Church. I will deliver the sermon, and Pam Tebow, mother of Christian athlete Tim Tebow, will be the special guest speaker. This service will be a marvelous experience of unity. Please join us. Learn more at nationalprayerservice.com. This is Father Frank Pavone, National Director of Priests for Life.
Well, welcome back. And I'm so excited about Friday, March for Life New York in Washington. We're going to go down to the march, and we're going to go to Father Frank's prayer meeting on Friday morning. So I'm really excited about that. And if you're watching us now on Facebook, please give us some comments. Send us some hearts. We all need some love tonight. We love that hearts. We love the love. And I invite you to watch us tonight and tell your friends to come and watch us tonight. And please like our page, March for Life New York. And you can go on March for Life New York, and you can see all the everything that's going on and everything that's new that's going to happen at March for Life New York April 29th. So get on that page, follow us on Twitter and on Blog Talk Radio. And go to our website. Please go to our website, marchforlifenewyork.org. marchforlifeny.org, all letters. And on the website, you can volunteer, you can donate for the March for Life, and you can also email me at march4life@gmail.com. If you'd like to be a vendor, email us and we'll send you a form.
Amen.
And and I'm so happy that I'm here tonight with Claire. I hope Claire, are you still there? I don't know if
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So I'm happy that we're here with you. And after speaking to you tonight, I'm sorry that I'm speaking to you over the phone because everything you're telling me, I feel like I want to hug you. You know, I like to hug you. I like to hug you through the phone, to tell you the truth. And I know.
Thank you.
Oh, honey, and I know that it's a very sensitive issue, but I understand that they force the pregnant moms to abort their babies. Would you want to share a little bit about that experience with us?
Yes. So yes, as I mentioned, I was staff at the Scientology headquarters in Hemet, and I first began working there at the age of 16. I met my husband there, Mark, and I married him the following year. So we were married in August of 1992. At the time that I arrived at the headquarters, I quickly learned that if a woman became pregnant who was a Sea Org member, essentially it was deemed that if anyone said, I want to leave, that the only reason for that is because they had crimes, and the process was that they would be segregated from the rest of the staff, put on heavy manual labor, and interrogated as to what their crimes were until such time as they confessed, changed their mind, decided they were going to stay, and went through an extremely rigorous handling. So I quickly learned that same process applied even if a woman became pregnant and said that she wanted to keep her baby. The policy was that she was to be handled to have an abortion. And I learned of this because I already knew that Sea Org members were not allowed to have children, but I had believed prior to arriving there that, well, the written policy that I thought was in play was that staff would be allowed to take a leave of absence to have the child. Well, I quickly learned that was absolutely not the case. It's not what was practiced at all. And in fact, I mentioned on Leah Remini's show, but I had actually compiled a list. It keeps growing now, as I've found out from many more women who were also forced to have abortions. But by the women that I knew, and this was not who I suspected, it was absolutely that I knew that they'd had an abortion, and my list was more than 50. And so, as you know, obviously it was very common practice. I knew of a woman that had had 6 abortions.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I saw some of these women too. It was not just a rumor or a threat. I would see, there was a section of the property that was very heavily guarded with security cameras and the whole thing, even more so than the rest of the property. And I would see, it was common that I would see someone there, and I would ask, ask another staff member, oh, what's she doing there? And I would be told, oh, she's pregnant, she's refusing to have an abortion.
Oh my goodness,
and
how horrible.
And so, yeah, no, absolutely. There was another woman, there was another woman that I know of who had an abortion when she was 6 months pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, and you had
They felt
said
a lot of pressure.
Yes. Oh my God! And even when they didn't want to have, and they didn't want to have one, they were forced.
No, I had sworn. I wanted to have children.
Yes.
Obviously, as I said, I wound up in the Sea organization. I was expected to follow the rules. but nonetheless, I wanted to have children.
Of
So in my
course.
mind, I had decided, well, I'm going to make sure I never get pregnant. Well, you know, that was, unfortunately, it was weird. I wasn't getting paid. I had no money to buy birth control. It wasn't provided. And I became pregnant. And so the second, and even then, every single aspect of it was absolutely grueling and destroying in terms of, I don't know what to say. It was like I didn't have access to go to Walgreens and buy a pregnancy test. I was not allowed off the property.
Oh, my
We
goodness.
didn't have access to stores. We didn't have cars.
Oh,
We didn't
my
have
God.
phone access. So when I missed my period, I'm like, great. Now I have to go see the medical person, and so it's a system that's designed to flush out these instances. I mean, it sounds horrible. It was horrible. Absolutely.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry.
And at the age of 19 is when the first one happened. And sure enough, I found out I was pregnant, and the medical officer told me you're going to have to schedule to get an abortion, and it was just absolutely expected. And in fact, I had another staff member say, "Oh, it's not a big deal. You're going to be okay." The medical officer said, "Listen, we're going to groom you on what you're going to say when you go to the Planned Parenthood clinic, and you need to tell them no. They're going to ask you if you want to speak to somebody. You say no. You say you've already made up your mind." And and even in the process of doing Leah's show, it suddenly hit me. I was, obviously reliving some
Yes.
very awful
Sure.
details, and it hit me. When I went in the first time, they said, "Where's your husband?" And it took every grain in my body to not break down and start crying right then and there, because obviously, where's my husband? He wasn't allowed to come with me to that appointment. He wasn't allowed to be part. There was no conversation. There was no choice. There was no nothing.
Oh, my goodness.
it
That's
was,
terrible. That's terrible. That's horrible. I know, and I know I watched you on the show, and you said you always wanted to have children. And I know you do have some beautiful children now. Thank God for that.
I do. I'm very blessed to have 3 boys.
Yes.
I know
That's great.
unfortunately there's other women that have left later, and they didn't have that same
Yes. Yes.
blessing that I have in terms of I do have 3 children, and I'm very, very thankful for them. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not counting my blessings for those boys.
Amen.
Oh,
Amen.
my God. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, and that all the ladies have to, and they don't have a choice. And as you said, that people that don't want to have abortions, they're very cruel to them. They separate them.
They are. Yes.
Yeah, you had.
Sure.
I saw on
Yeah.
you had
So
mentioned.
So much so, I
Controlling.
mean, I honestly did consider going through that, but at 19, the thought of doing heavy manual labor while pregnant, that's even, that's, I don't know, it's,
Yeah, it's hard.
both
You had no support. There was no
Both are evil.
support system. Yeah?
and also too, they separate husbands and wives. So there was a very, in my mind, even if I had to that, and I wish I had, but even if I had, I knew they were going to do everything in their power to make Mark stay, and then I'd be by myself.
Oh,
Sure.
what a shame. I'm so glad that the both of you are out of there. I'm going to pray that everybody gets out of there. I'm going to be praying hard.
Well, we're going to come right back. We're going to take questions and comments. Go over what's going on, but
Yes.
don't realize the depth of it. But we'll be right back after this brief.
The Long Island Coalition for Life is helping communities choose life for more than 40 years through public outreach, listening advocacy, prayer, and education. The Long Island Coalition for Life is you to join their efforts to restore respect for the sanctity of life through Stand Up for Life and Face the Truth events, street fair booths, oratory content, and vigils. Visit the Long Island Coalition for Life at www.lifeli.org, where you can read the LICL newsletter, Life News, and find information on local pro-life resources. Find out how you can be a part of effective pro-life action by calling 631-243-1435. That's 631-243-1435. Or visit our website at www.prolifeli.org.
What a great group, the Long Island Coalition for Life,
Amen.
right?
They really are. They really are a great group.
Well, now we're back, and we want to take your calls. So if you have a question, you can call us now at 929-477-3870. Again, that's 929-477-3870. Do we have anyone on the line? We have some waiting a while.
Hi, who's on the line? Hello?
Oh, I think that's me.
Oh, is that Barbara?
Yes, it is. All right.
I recognize. Oh, I recognize that voice. Hello.
Hi. I had an awful hard time hearing the questions in the beginning. I could hear Claire, but I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, we have a storm here.
Are we better now? Are we better now?
Yes.
Oh.
Now.
Oh, good. Well, we have a bad storm blowing over right now. Thank you.
That must be what's causing it. Yeah, and that's our meeting canceled tonight.
I know.
Coalition because of the storm. So that's why I'm able to pull in there.
All right. You have a question?
Well, more of a comment. I really realized how little I knew about Scientology, and it's going to be something I'm going to look into because it's frightening, really frightening to think that
Yes.
It is, right? It's
how people are treated in that way. From an early age to be groomed and isolated and all of those techniques that actually pedophiles use, and it's a way of abusing children beyond belief.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to inform and become more informed on the subject. But
Oh, that's great.
I really appreciate Claire for coming on the show and sharing all this because it's wonderful. It's just a wonderful eye opener. We need to hear it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling, Barbara.
Thank
we love
Barbara.
you.
And that's a great point. Until you realize, sometimes we look and we don't fully understand if you're not involved with it.
Yes.
And that's why the show on TV that Leah put out was
amazing.
because it was an eye-opener. You don't realize how deep the deception goes and how painful it is.
And I also want to say, we're March for Life New York, and Barbara Renner that just called, she was from the Long Island Coalition for Life, and she's part of March for Life too. But us people that have these groups that we want to support life. Of course, we're supporting life with the preborn, but we want to stand up for life, everybody's life. I feel that I'm here to protect people's lives. And I didn't know any of this that was going on with the Scientologists. But now that we know, I think we're going to get together and we're going to try to do something about it, whatever we can do. So thank you for educating us, Claire.
So important.
It's so.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
I mean, we know.
My pleasure to do so.
Most people don't know this.
And people often ask me, even people I work with, I just had no idea. And I will often say, well, yeah, once you start delving into Scientology, it's very much Pandora's box.
Yes.
And it's many layers of the onion of what the crimes and abuse, and this organization has a very long and dark history, and I think that sometimes I know that it can be hard for a person who has no idea to realize this has been going on, but nonetheless, it doesn't make it any less real, and obviously to the degree that the public in general knows this organization is dangerous and it's destroying people's
That's
lives,
right.
then they lose their power to that degree.
That's right.
They have billions of dollars they've shuttled aside because of their IRS 1993 list recognition, and honestly, I hope someday IRS will am of the belief that the problem is they attained religious recognition. I don't believe they're a religion. I absolutely think they're a business, and they have the, they're using the religious rights to their benefit, while carrying out destructive activities. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
godless. It's a godless. There's no God. Like you told me on the phone,
right.
you don't worship.
That's exactly right. They don't. They don't pray. They don't believe in God. In fact, I think I mentioned to you, Pastor Jerry, when we were talking, but to me, that is demonstrated by the fact that if you ask any one single Scientologist, do you believe in God? You will get an answer, every single one of them.
Unbelievable.
And they don't believe in God. Really.
That's obvious. How can they?
The only worship that goes on.
Oh, we have a quick. Hi, who's on the line?
Hi, it's Nancy.
Hey, Nancy, how are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and I give you so much credit for being so bold and to share it, and that you even got out. And I feel so good when I hear this story, but I know that your story will definitely touch other people and help them. I wanted to ask you, how did you finally get out?
Oh, that's good. I want her to tell us too. That's good. That's a good.
So actually, yes, it's a very good question, and I still wonder about that myself sometimes. But the truth is, on January 4th, my husband escaped, and he actually escaped without me. He wrote about this in a book. It's called Blown for Good: Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology. It's on Kindle and Amazon. Anyway, in his book, he covers exactly what happened. He at the time, I hadn't even been gone home. I'd been working around the clock, so we had no chance to. He had no opportunity to tell me that he was going to escape. He had called me that night at 4 o'clock in the morning, asking me if I was coming home, and I said, I don't know, I'm working, I'm going to try and come home and take a shower at least. Anyway, needless to say, I never made it home. We covered, and we talked about this in Leah Remini's show, about that there was also a fact that I may have ratted him out. He reported that he was planning to escape. I don't know.
He said he was afraid. He was afraid you were going to rat him out,
yeah,
right?
he was afraid I ran out. Either way, I never made it home, so that was besides the point. He escaped on his motorcycle. There's a police report about it. He was run off the road after Bi called 911. Anyway, it was a very real life drama is all I can say. And the only way he made it out successfully was with the help of Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, who I am eternally grateful to for, having grown up in Scientology. You're taught that the police, the government, the media are all bent on destroying Scientology. They're not there to help you. So to learn that was the opposite, absolutely was a complete change of view for me, that the only way my husband escaped was because of them, was tremendous. And I'm forever grateful for that. The day that he left, they told me, oh, your husband has escaped. Initially, they were going to have me help bring him back. However, they quickly canceled that because they have an unwritten rules of what they do to recover people when they've escaped. They do what's called a blow drill, and they track people down. They monitor their records. They contact their family. They go to great lengths to track people down. They told me that my husband had gone to the dark side and that he had called 911, and that he was a suppressive person. Anyway, so with all of that, needless to say, I was heartbroken. My husband of at that time 13 years was gone, and I was on my own, and he actually sent me a message saying, I can't come back, I can't do this, I'm really sorry, you're going to have to move on, because he knew, we've talked about this endlessly, but he knew that, had he put me on the spot, even if we had ended up talking about it, it would be my decision would affect my whole family. My mother, my siblings, my aunts, uncles, cousins are all in Scientology, and he knew very well that if I did leave and escape, then I would never be able to speak to them again. That's a big decision to make on the spot. And anyway, needless to say, I very quickly came to terms with the fact that, you know, really I'd had no true mother-daughter relationship with my mother since she joined the Seer when I was 4 years old. I never saw her anyway. Even when I did see her, I could only tell her that life was wonderful and that everything was doing well, otherwise I'd get in very big trouble.
Oh my goodness.
In fact, the last time that I did see her before I escaped, my stepfather had commented I had lost a lot of weight. I was under so much stress. I'm 5'7", and I was less than 100 pounds by that point.
Wow.
I'd been denied dining privileges because I was in trouble, and so I was required to eat by the trash compactor at the property, and I refused to do so.
Oh my
so therefore I
goodness.
just lived on protein bars for 6 months. Yeah, so I saw my stepfather. He said, "Wow, do they feed you?" Because I was skin and bones, emaciated beyond belief, and I just said, "Oh, you know, I'm all right." Anyway, so obviously I was very far from okay. It took me a long time to recover, and I'm still recovering to this day.
Sure,
Yes,
sure, I can
yes.
imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah,
good.
so how I escaped them was, like I said, it's kind of a long story. I'm sorry, but
No,
but
that's
so
okay.
Mark escaped with the help of the Riverside County deputies. That same day that he left, I packed a bag and hid it under my bed. However, I was then restricted to the property. I was not allowed to leave even to my room that was just outside the property. I was under security watch. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I managed to, by some miracle, get a message to my husband, which I did through my sister, who was at college at the time in Los Angeles. And I was not allowed to tell my family that he had escaped. So because of that, I was able to tell her, "Oh, send Mark a message that that I'm trying to talk to him and that I love him." And so he called me on my Nextel radio phone the next day. Meanwhile, I'd been told that by the security guards at the base that they were tracking him down and that they were going to bring him back. So obviously, in my mind, I'm going, great. If I make a break for it and escape right now, and they're bringing him back, I'm still never going to see him again. That ended up being a lie, and they didn't end up bringing him back, obviously, thankfully. So 2.5 weeks later, I had made an appointment under the pretense that I needed to get new contact lenses at Walmart in Hemet, and I'd called a cab and I put it under an assumed name. So they had somebody escort me to the eye doctor appointment. When we got to the Walmart, I said, "Oh, just let me off up front so I can go into my appointment." It was 10:15 on the dot. I remember it like it was yesterday. I still, have nightmares about this to this day. But anyway, she let me out and let me go in. I walked into the Walmart. I walked as fast as I could to the other entrance exit area, which is where the cab was waiting. Got into the cab. The cab driver looked at me and said, "Barbara Smith." I'm like, "That's me."
You got in.
Courageous.
Wow.
Anyway, they intercepted me in Vegas, at the Vegas Greyhound bus station, and that's where I had a change of bus. By the time I got to that point, it was dark. It was around dinner time. I hadn't eaten anything. I was absolutely starving. I thought, "Oh, I'll just go get something at McDonald's before I get on the next bus." Well, the second I walked into the station, I didn't even make it in through the door, and there were 2 Sea Org members who I had known and worked with for 12 years,
Unbelievable.
standing there saying, "You're not doing this. We're here to bring you back.
Oh,
We
my.
told Mark that you're not coming." Anyway, needless to say, they didn't succeed in getting me back. I walked into the Greyhound bus station. I put my purse down in the middle of the floor and sat on it. And I hoped and prayed that if they dragged me out of there, which they have been known to do, that someone might notice and call 911 if I screamed.
Wow, that's incredible.
They didn't drag me out of there. I did get on the next
Thank
bus.
God.
They threatened to
Thank
follow
God.
me on the bus. They didn't. And, of course, the second I got on the bus, I turned on my organization phone. That's how they had tracked me. And I called Mark and I told him that I was on the bus and that I was coming. And of course he freaked out and was tremendously relieved.
Thank God.
They should do a movie. Your
Yeah.
next thing's going to be a movie.
Tell us again about the book. Tell us about your husband's book. People listening, maybe they want to read his book. Tell them the name of it.
Absolutely. It's called Blown for Good, and obviously in Scientology, their term for escape is blown. Or a blow.
Okay.
It's an unauthorized departure from the organization. That's their exact definition of it. And so blown for good obviously means he's escaped for good.
Oh, thank God.
So it's Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology by Mark, M-A-R-C, Headley, H-E-A-D-L-E-Y. It's available on Amazon and Kindle, and in the paperback version, we actually included a copy of the police report.
Wow.
We never actually knew there was a police report of the incident when my husband was run off the road, and the Riverside County deputies responded. And in our lawsuit, they actually depositioned those sheriff's deputies who responded, and those sheriff's deputies clearly said that they were threatened by the Scientology guards. They called for backup. And what touched me most about all that I had no idea is that there was a lady that was their chief, I guess the head of those deputies at the time. Unfortunately, she since passed away. But my husband did not file. He did not make any complaint at that time. He didn't press charges. The only reason that police report was even written was because that lady looked at his records and saw that he was married, and obviously she knew that there was a possibility that, anyway, I think that the Riverside County deputies know much more what goes on
Yes.
than they are able to.
And you know what?
Do something
Thank
about.
God.
So,
And you know what? See what you said, the Scientologists tell you that they don't like, the police don't like the Scientologists. They don't like them because they know what they're doing to the people. So thank God for that.
So I encourage everybody to get Mark Headley's
Oh my
book,
God.
Blown for Good. And I mean, that's
I'm so happy
that's
that
incredible.
you guys are free.
I'm going to pick it up.
I didn't even know any of this.
Well, we'll be right back
You're
after.
breaking up again. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, we'll be
we're gonna
right
take
back.
a brief
Message.
intermission.
For beautiful hair at affordable prices, Caribbean Hair Salon is a full-service salon for all hair types. For beautiful cuts, elegant updos, eye-catching color, weaving, keratin treatments, and much, much more. Visit the friendly staff at Caribbean Hair Salon today. You can have the gorgeous hair you always wanted. That's Caribbean Hair Salon, 35 East Middle Country Road in Coram. For information, call 631-880-7142. That's 631-880-7142. Caribbean Hair Salon in Coram.
And actually, we get our hair done
That's it.
at
Ron.
Caribbean Hair Salon, so you want to go there and get your hair done too, right?
Amen.
And we're back. So can I ask another question to Claire? Do we have a
Yeah,
minute?
we got well, we also got news coming up. You got one, kid.
Claire, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, honey, I want to ask you, so it's a strange question because I know life is great now, but how is life outside Scientology, and do you look at the world in a different way now? You have like better glasses on, you can see things more clearly.
Yes, I absolutely do. The world out here is an amazing place, full of wonderful people who, I mean, honestly, I have been so touched by the people that have never been involved in Scientology, who have, reached out and sent such gracious messages. It's just been absolutely overwhelming. It has always been humbling to me that people who never had any dog in the fight, as the saying goes, would care, and I just never thought that would be the case, honestly. From my upbringing in Scientology, I was often told, oh, the world, they teach in Scientology to children that the world is a dangerous environment, is the exact term that they use, and it's full of bad, evil people who are criminals, drug addicts, prostitutes, and that if you leave Scientology, that's what you're going to become. Well, that could not be further from the truth in my experience. I have found so much healing and love being outside of Scientology. So while I lost my family in the process, the bottom line is if I hadn't escaped when I did, I would not be alive today. I really, honestly, truly believe that. I was just in a very, very, very bad environment, a very bad, emotional, physical, everything about it was just an absolute nightmare. I still have, as I mentioned, I still have nightmares about it, but they are at least becoming further and further apart. And I'm absolutely blessed with three boys that I absolutely love. They are my heart, walking around on legs. All I can say is I have found I've found peace speaking out against Scientology, educating people about what they really do, and really coming to terms with my own upbringing in Scientology and kind of shedding the programming that they so meticulously installed.
Do you think the Lord maybe helped you out? I know they don't teach you anything about God in Scientology, but maybe the Lord helped you escape, you and your husband.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, I'm still coming to terms with that. I do believe in God. I'm certainly not at a point where I'm going to commit to anything, but I'm finding my way for sure.
That's great. We're going to be praying for you.
And at least for sure, exposing Scientology for what it does and the abuses it perpetrates has brought me a long way on that road. Absolutely. It's helped me step out from the fear and the darkness of what Scientology practices, and it's given me strength I didn't honestly believe I had at the beginning, and certainly also having children has brought about such a different perspective for me in terms of really making me see what my life was before and in Scientology, and obviously I'm enjoying an actual childhood vicariously through their eyes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that is
great.
wonderful.
Great.
And you are really amazing. It's so wonderful for you to give your story as you do. It really is.
Thank you.
And
I
I really believe that it's going to help people. People are listening tonight, and it's going to help them. Do you have another question for Claire?
No, we're running out of time, so I don't want to. And Claire, I know you're in a situation now as far as your belief goes. But would you mind if we prayed for you before we close this show?
I'm sorry, it's breaking up again. I missed part of the question. I understood you.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we even have time now to go to the news, but what I would like to do is pray. I'd like to end in prayer. I want to thank you, Claire, for being on the show and for being a history maker.
Yes, God bless you.
I really would like to pray for you and for your family and for all the people that are out there, people that are in Scientology. There's so many that are in this, and they're in bondage. It's so sad. I mean, I can't even believe that in America that people have to live like that. It seems to me that we should really do something about it. So I would like to.
I could not agree with you more.
I really want to end in prayer. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just take a minute to pray right now. So Father, I thank you tonight for bringing Claire to us, for her sharing her story tonight. And Lord, you say in your word that we shall know the truth, and the truth will set us free. I'm so thankful that you've given freedom to Claire and Mark and their beautiful boys. And I pray that they would continue to walk in your freedom and grow to know your great love for them. And I ask you, Lord, to help those who are watching tonight. Maybe they're still in bondage with Scientology. I pray that the words that were spoken tonight will begin to open up eyes, and they would turn from bondage to Jesus Christ, the only living God. And I ask all this, Father, in the precious name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I'll tell you, it was so great hearing from Claire tonight.
Yes, Claire, we really thank you. Tremendous interview. It was so eye-opening to all of us.
90
And,
seconds.
So many of us really
Thank you,
need
sir.
to know what's
Like
going
I said,
on.
I really appreciate you helping spread the word and for having me on and for exposing helping me have a voice to expose what really goes on in
Amen.
Scientology.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
very thankful.
And
for that.
listen, it doesn't end when you get off the phone, because I'm going to continue
No.
to speak against
That's it.
Scientology.
That's it. And thank you for
Yeah.
being a
Me
voice,
also.
being a voice in
Yes.
that situation, you know.
Absolutely.
But we'll be praying for you and your family and wish you guys the best, and you know, believing there's going to be great healing in your
Yes,
lives, and,
yes.
and God's going to use you mightily.
Yes, he is. He's
We
using
believe
you
that.
now. He's using you now to get the
Amen.
word out.
So God bless you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Claire,
I really
so much.
appreciate
I thank everyone on the radio show that have been listening, everyone on Facebook. The radio is going to close in a minute. Facebook, if you can stay with me 2 more minutes, I just have a couple of comments. But we're going to close right now, and we thank everyone, every one of you guys, for being a history maker. Thank Claire and her family for
Oh,
being
God bless
history
you.
makers, and we're excited.
Thank you so much.
Next week, all this week, Friday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're going to be live streaming on Facebook from Washington, D.C. for March for Life Radio.
So keep watching.
So keep watching. God bless you guys. And remember, you too can be a history maker.
Maker in this land. I'm gonna be
This is where everybody dances.
Girl of truth to all mankind. I'm gonna stand.
I'm gonna run.
Into your arms. Into your arms again.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
You're welcome.
So we're still on Facebook. We will let you know on Facebook that we are going to Washington, D.C. for March for Life. We're going to be leaving Thursday, so be watching on Facebook, because we are going to live stream every chance we get, right?
Amen.
And when we come back, the Monday we come back, our guest is going to be Andy White will be with us, and we are going to be speaking about the March for Life New York in Washington. So you don't want to miss that.
Great. God bless you guys. Thank you for staying with us. And what a tremendous interview with Claire Headley. And
Beautiful lady, beautiful
we pray
lady.
God's blessing upon her and her
Yes,
family.
yes.
And just great stuff going on from here on in. So God bless you guys tonight.
Good night. We love you.